sure if you can hear me. It's gonna sound a little bit bad because I have a fan that's blowing. So, but my voice is here, so if you do hear me, here. I'll just change it off real quick. Not take it off yet. This plastic stuff is protection for the inside of the display. I really wish that I don't actually have this part done. It would make it so much easier, but this is alright. They'll still pass. Put the home button back on here. I would love to do against components like that. I'm not too much. I know how to do microSD and stuff like that, but it's a little hard to go into full depth. I can show some things like this. This is your actually home button right here. This allows your fingerprint to work like this. If it didn't bother me and the fingerprints didn't matter, you could just replace it. It'll be so much easier. But Apple's kind of cruel, and it's pretty much married with the original home button. Like, you can still replace it, but your fingerprint won't unlock anymore. So that's one of the most common things for it. This is the part that holds it in place right here. If I'm correct, I think it looks like this. Yeah, just like that. And you put some glue on here. Everywhere, glue is some crazy shit. As you see, it's a B7000. It's pretty much used on every stuff like phone repairs, tablets, stuff like that. It's just very sticky. It takes a little bit of time for it to glue, but it's worth it. Make sure it kind of fits correctly in place. Right now when I push it, it has to press the home button behind it. It has to be kind of just perfectly flush. You'll have that little clicking sound that I have right now. So it sounds good. That's awesome. So I'm gonna put a slight little glue just around it, just for more touch up. Just a little bit, not too much. This doesn't need too much either, but I just want to take a chance of this. The home buttons like to get pushed in a lot by kids whenever they get it replaced, and we have to take up the screen and redo this whole thing all over again. But we're pretty much getting this thing done. I need to take off all of this tape. Pretty much, this is pretty much done. The last thing that needs to be done is to take off this protector right now. But the rest, we need to clean up this display now. If I can take off, there's one part that aggravates the heck out of me, and it's this part here. And I like to get rubbed whenever we have to replace the screen. This stuff goes everywhere, and then it's like little material. It's gonna be so hard. remove it, it will be easier without having this little stuff rubbed on the display whenever we have to put the screen back in place. Stuck in my hand. Just the rest of this stuff off. There we go. I need some pretty much some cleaning material for like wind day. Decent microcloth that can clean it. Let's see, we have some stuff that got stuck on here. Lots of times whenever screens get damaged from crack, it actually kind of engraves the screen. So you have to be kind of, it's what you're going to get on it. And people complain sometimes from scratches, but there's nothing really else you can do. It happened from when you damaged it from getting it broken. This is not perfect, but this is a lot freaking better. Little things like glass and stuff can happen on here. Try not to prevent that from happening. Whenever the screen turns on, you actually won't really see it, so you're pretty alright. But there it is, the screen's pretty much ready. And now we need to start putting everything all back together. Pretty much first, the digitizer needs to be put in place. Always, I would say, if you ever work on an iPad, to always be sure that you unplug the battery on there. If it's still having current and stuff at that time, when it's still powered on, you really can damage some of the parts and components that allows like the backlight or the display to work. That happens pretty often. I just remember a person that used to work on them for me, and he used to do that pretty often. The whole problem is just be sure you unplug it. You have no clue how much that would actually save you than having to go sent out to get repaired. Do if you ever do on these jump, force stuff, let it fit in flush. If you force stuff in, you could really damage some parts on the board. It's more fun whenever that continues going worse. So right now I'm pretty much closing the screw that holds the battery back in place. So there's going to be power on here. And you push this down with the metal plate that holds the connections on there perfectly. I'm still hoping that nothing bad happens on this, but we do not know until we actually turn everything on. Oh, there's one little part I need to put that actually will help out. Now, it's not the end of the world. You know, we actually don't need this, but this part will usually help it out. Yeah, I actually don't have any adhesive, so I'm actually just gonna leave it out. Usually, what it does, it holds the part in place with the wire. Oh, maybe it will stay. Okay. I'm gonna lay this down. There we are, looking very good. Now I'm just going to see if this thing has power real quick. Let's see if the light turns on. It might be actually dead. Oh, there it is. So there is light. So the screen's not damaged. I'm just going to continue working on this in a bit. There it is. The screen's actually still good. That's awesome. Go ahead and turn that off real quick. And now go ahead and put the screws that holds the LCD in place. We're pretty much already done with this one. I still need to do another one on an iPad 6th Gen. Screw is going like it's too tight, it's going angled. So whoever has just decided to come and view, thank you. You have no clue how much this helps. I'm probably gonna start going on. I'm pretty much repair pretty much all day long. So I'm probably gonna start going online pretty often. If it's the most common ones, they're not gonna do the same thing. Let's see if I can be sure I can get this clean as best we can. Any materials for this. That's probably the best it's gonna get. Let's try to find another cloth. Let's try this again. Probably as best it's gonna get. Usually if something gets in the way, you kind of like to stand the display in place, laying down. Usually the stuff falls down, little pieces. There we are, we're pretty much already done. Last thing I need to do is just remove this. Everything looks pretty damn good. One tiny piece on, make sure we put on. Alrighty, let's go ahead and close this up. Make sure the wire goes underneath. Make sure that fits perfectly. Making sure everything's flush. Nothing's pushing up. It gets pretty bad when we have some in the frame is bad, and then they want us to repair it. I'm like, yeah, we can, but they're gonna need a new frame, or we'll try and bend as best we can. But that's not giving a full guarantee that that can be done just magically. Alrighty, so this thing has plastic right now, that's why it looks weird. That's normal. Don't really care too much on that part. That means the screen is working, touch is working, so that is awesome. Stuff is up, so that's good. I'm going to actually get some little tools that we use here. You actually can buy these. I'll probably put a link below where you can get this. They're quantity tools, and they're pretty much tools that will hold this display clamped. They honestly need to stay there. Don't push too much tension on it, but they need to be stayed on there to kind of hold the adhesive that's holding the digitizer in place. If you leave it there, honestly, you probably don't need this, but I usually like to leave them for about 24 hours, at least 12, that'll be good, and to let the adhesive sit in place. Right now it's only 4 of them I'm gonna put a few more. One of the most important ones that comes up here a lot is the part on the home button. The home button literally gets pushed out of the way when the kids push it, and it gets out of there, and I have to repair this by taking it apart and re-glue it again. This is pretty much the most important part of the whole thing to me. I'm tightening them not too much, just enough, just kind of like hand tight this very lightly, not even trying to hold it tight, just enough to hold it in place. Go this one. And the last one's going to be right here. The screen is still up, so everything's good for right now. I'm going to go ahead and let this sit here. This is one that we got repaired for a person. I can't really show it here. I'll put it after. This one is pretty much done. I'm gonna sit there and just wait. It's time. So now I have another iPad that needs repair. This is an iPad 6th Gen. Look how beautiful how that one got shattered. Looks like something got hit on it. Like it fell on them, maybe like a pebble or something. Or they just, yeah, that's what mostly looks like, something fell on it. But this is a 6th Gen. Oh, so much glass, I can feel it like nothing. I'm gonna have to power the system on. Right now it's pretty much on mobile. I'm gonna go ahead and change this. I can give you a link where you can get this awesome tool too. This is a very useful tool, and I use it literally all the time. If you ever decide to work on iPads without heating them up, you probably use like a heating gun, pretty much a heat gun. It helps out, but this helps out so much more. It's gotta get warm up really quick. Right now I'm gonna go ahead and let it get warm. It's not hot enough yet. I can move this back a little bit too. Oh, that came on. That's all I needed to know. Like, if I need to during time period, I'll probably have to charge it up. I'm not plug it in and see what's turned on, but it'll be after once I start almost done replacing the digitizer. We already have the replacement part. That's the useful thing. It's getting hot. Once it gets hot, I'll start using this additional glove. This is an awesome glove. I got it from a site. I don't know if I can find this somewhere else or affiliate for you, I will. And this will be a useful tool. This pretty much is a glove. And this pretty much helps it that you won't burn your hand, because I pretty much, honestly, some people only go up to maybe like 100 degrees or so, but I like to get this thing pretty high what the system came with, and it hasn't damaged any system for me yet, so that's what I'm gonna do. I think it was probably maybe like 180 degrees here. Now it's pretty warm. That's why I have this hand, I can hold it and it won't burn my hand. it's freaking 170, so it's pretty much hot right now. Make the stuff slowly start moving this. Whenever you have something cracked and it's not that bad and it's only just a few pieces, this makes it so much easier. But because it's cracked, there's every individual glass that came out, so it's gonna be a little difficult to take this off. But we'll start doing it. So there it goes, we're starting. But every little single one. Started. That's actually very useful right now. Not that bad. That going pretty good right now. Last time. Don't really do nothing, it's just a cover. That's what happened on the last one. We're good. Ooh, I can feel that. That one came out. I get so happy when that comes off so simple. So right now this is coming out good without having all the pieces here. Oh, that is hot. I just felt that on my hand. Okay. That beep is just trying to got up to its pretty much hottest potential, and now it's on counting down before it turns off. Second right now being a phone call. He is behind TikTok. Can I help you? Overall, the only thing to get is factory reset because all it is. It's going to need a new battery. I don't know if you want to get that done or if you just want to just pick it up. Battery's got locked. It's not going to be able to. Can't get anything out of it. Yep. You can try, but I'm pretty sure you're not the safe as it was. You're allowed to in a lock cycle on state. And that's pretty much about the rest. If you want it to still, like, it still technically works, but it'll be like a brand new phone. You would have to log back into your Apple account information, and then it'll work. But if not, it's pretty much, like, regardless, it's still like new. Yeah. When that system gets reset, everything is fine. Usually if you pay for the subscription, like for iCloud and stuff like that, then yes, you can restore your stuff, but most likely you probably didn't. Pretty much got checked out. it won't matter if you go to the computer, it's still clear. Everything is gone. It got corrupted. It's like a brand new phone. That's where your system is at. Yeah, it'll still work, it'll power on, and it'll be like, I'll tell you to sign back into your Apple account information, whatever email you used or whatever, and it'll be like a brand new phone, but that's about it. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I still have it here. There's no charge. It was mostly just a diagnostic on it, and it was nothing really I can really do. It was just that cycle loop on itself. So if you want to come pick it up, there's no charge. Yep. As if you just heard me, if I was, I told you a different business name that we heard called ESPI Fix. That's another store that technically this store is at now. We kind of bought them out, but we don't have the digital, like the sign outside yet, or display sign. So I'm still calling it ESPI Fix until we officially switch over. So this is actually their phone number right here. Oh, this is coming off awesome. Sorry about that. We have a person that comes here almost like every other day. And there's a person that's kind of like homeless. And I've actually already contacted the police and stuff for him to prevent him from coming here, and he still comes here every day. So, yeah, that's how this case is at right now on that one. Regardless, let me go ahead and continue taking this stuff off. Ooh, that is hot. Careful on this part, because there's usually a wire that's going to be right here that passes, and that's pretty much what allows the home button to work. So try not to damage this part, or I think you're fine. I really don't care if it damages. There's a couple wires that are going to come for the digitizer, but I can live without that. are. We pretty much got the digitizer off. Here we are. Now once we take off the digitizer, try not to hurt these wires. This is the most important one right here. Again, don't hurt this one. It's this one right here. This is what allows your home button and everything to work. I need to remove these 4 screws for it. Let's go ahead and do that. As you see that they have little tape on the ends. This means that they've never been repaired before. Still from an original digitizer. But we are going to replace this with a new one, or replacement one, third-party one, and this will pretty much make it work again. So remove the screws. Some are different. This one's 6th gen, so I think it just stands up like this. Some other ones, like the 5th or 4th, I think, I'm correct, they have to go like angled. It all depends on different models. It's best if you go to like iFixit and they have tutorials how to do it correctly. Kind of extra steps that are unnecessary, but it will help you out. There we are. Now pretty much this is actually very hot and I don't need this on anymore. I can feel how hot this is. Go ahead and lift this up. And there are 3 screws and pretty much the power one. Power from the battery. Where you do not hurt these wires. Always come where we mess those up. And then we go for the screen. This part likes to get stuck a lot. So what I see, they have a little tape underneath. All I usually do is just kind of move it around. Do not hurt that part. And there it goes. There's the wire still perfectly fine. It just has a little stuff to hold it in place. We're gonna need this in a bit. But here's the display. Right now we're gonna have to clean it up. Hello, whoever just joined in. Nice to see you. Haven't been going live. This is probably gonna be more common because I usually could repairs all day long. Sometimes we get covered up with too many. So this is probably what's gonna be normal things that happens here. This wire. Okay, that's most important. And then I need to unplug this battery. This battery means that if there was still current power that's powered on, we don't want to mess up. Not really too much bad if you unplug the stuff, but if you're gonna be putting the digitizer stuff or the display back, when the iPad's pretty much on, you literally can break, not really break, but damage some of the components that allows like the backlight or the touch features to get messed up. So I'm pretty much removing the battery, the screw for the battery. And then there's a little tool that you can get. There's also from Quantum, awesome tools. And you can lift it up a little bit. Lift it up. And now we're pretty much going to remove these other connections right here. that's loading up, I'm actually going to plug in the iPad for a bit. Make sure it gets connected and see if I can let it charge a little bit because the battery was low. We do want to be able to just test it once we're pretty much doing repair, and to see if the display is still good and also the digitizer is working. Right now it's kind of just sitting there to charge. What we need to do right now is to remove the home button. If it's one of the older models that pretty much you don't have to have a fingerprint, it wouldn't matter. We'll just buy the whole set that comes with it. It's like $5 difference. But this is an original one, so we pretty much don't want to damage this cable. So this is pretty much the heat gun. We're gonna warm this up and slowly remove this connection. Hearing a train passing by. Look how simple that came off. Look at that. Look how simple that came off once getting it warm. No, these pieces of glass need to be removed. So that came off very simple. And then I need to disconnect this part right here. Now we're going to have to take off the adhesive that's behind it, the glass. Let's see if the glass can feel it. So we're going to have to put some glue to put this back in place. This is not that bad. Okay. So now this is pretty much coming off. We just need to push up the home button, and there we go. We saved the home button for the humongous digitizer. Now we need this right here is the replacement one that we're going to use. I will probably show you a link below where you can actually get these parts. I'm not sure if it's able to get it for regular residentials. I know they have for businesses for this. Regardless, we're going to be showing how to get to it. So right now, this is pretty much the home button that we're going to have to put back on here. Now the problem is that this plastic that's kind of just covering up for protection right now needs to be lifted up for us to put this on there. Pretty much good. We do not want to try and see if we get anything on here. Right now it's actually saving your butt from getting lint and fingerprints and everything else on the digitizer. But once it gets there, it is very difficult to clean it off. So right here, when you put this on here, they do matter which side you put it, because when you actually put the display on back in place on the frame, it pretty much has to fit perfectly onto there. So this is an example. This fits. See, that part has a piece right here. This one does have that part. They have to lay correctly for it to fit. So the way how we got this has to be the same way on there. Someone's here, 1 second. again, that's the homeless guy. He's gonna be actually leaving, probably back later, but he needs to have surgery. That's why. This is the glue that I use for this. It's B7000, and this is what's used on the iPad that I use right now, and also used on like smartphones, kind of like Android mostly. Don't really need too much on Apple products. They usually have the stuff already has a piece of the stuff for it, so that's usually not needed. But here we are. Make sure you do this correctly. There we go. Looks good. Right now I need to actually go behind it. Be sure it's fit in correctly. And it is popping. Awesome. That's the most important right there. It has to be like perfect. One little part off can make this whole thing not work. Well, that's pretty much drying. I need to do the same thing on here. This is supposed to be laying back like that, but then there's this plastic here. So that needs to be moved first. If you do have broken iPads or stuff like that, and they need to be repaired, you can send them to me. I will pretty much send you a link for this. We do repair them, as you noticed. We get lots of mail-ins. I know we used to get mostly mail-ins for phone repairs, but we kind of work on lots of different stuff. We work on phones, tablets, different tablets like Samsung, stuff like that. Android phones. We also work on laptop screen replacements, board replacements, hard drive upgrades, and honestly anything you do like that. We do like the HDMI stuff on game consoles and stuff like that. We change the charging port repairs on laptops, or micro soldering repairs that needs to be done too. We get those mostly a lot for the HDMIs on Xboxes or PlayStation, mostly PlayStation. I get that more often. Power supply replacements on those systems too. Something else that we also get often is micro soldering on laptops because of that. They become damaged because of that. And we have to, lots of them have been turning to the Type-C, so it's a little difficult to get it perfect on the soldering repair, but it's not the end of the world. So eventually I'll start making more videos on soldering repairs, but I do not have the equipment that has the ability for the HDMI to capture. I can record it for you. I can probably make messages and stuff getting repaired on Twitter and stuff like that, but not recording yet. Here we are right now. Going good on this already. Someone just messaged me. Nothing new important, just ads. I love the ads. Wonderful. So this is pretty much ready. I'm again going to unplug this. I don't want this thing to be powered on while we're going to test this. So unplug that screw. So I can lift this up slowly, just a little bit. I can get it in a better spot. I need something better. This will work. Hang up for a second. Hoping that it's not plugged in. I don't want to hurt this disc board, it's very sensitive. So, might as well take my chances and see. Here we are. I'm making sure there's anything stuck around here that won't be being a bother when we close it up. This still has a little bit of adhesive, but that won't matter. Piece of glass wheel, that will be very important. Alright, I think we're actually working pretty good. This is the Digitizer. Oh, I had that part. I totally should have done that right now. I need to take off all the 3M tape on it right now. on this video. I'm pretty much gonna make another video of this edited and probably shorter. You won't have to hear this long talking here. There's the others that are on there flash. Perfect. Okay. I'm actually going to use this to hold. Honestly, I probably could have cleaned this before doing this, but I think I'll be alright. I'll clean it after. Go ahead and let this thing get connected. There it is. Everything still is connected. That's the most important part. Now we're gonna first put this plate back in here. There we go, we got the plate back on there. We need to put the screw for the battery back in. Going to slowly, gotta be sure it's working. I'm gonna lay this back down. I don't like this stuff that gets stuck here. Get this stuff off, it'll be awesome. If not, it's fine. I know this takes a little cleanup, but I'll just leave it as is. Let's go ahead and put the screws back on here. To join to stop in. Thank you. You have no clue. We're gonna start going more online. Or pretty much finishing up this one right here. Everything looks good. This is pretty much already done too. I'm just trying to clean this up real quick. Very little. Try not to have pieces of glass. You have a piece of glass and you try and repair this, you can literally scratch the screen real easy. Lens and stuff, we're gonna get this all the time. Try and get the best you can. It's not really too much else you can do. Unless you have some equipment that can keep it spotless. Kind of keeps the light and it's air flowing. So any lens keeps it clean. I don't have that tool. I can probably give you a link from an awesome channel called Northridge Fix. He has some awesome parts. I usually get stuff from them for it. This thing is freaking pretty much done. That's as best it's gonna get. So now we're going to pretty much remove this Not the last chance. I can still do this again with more clean after. Looks looking pretty damn good. That's enough for me. And we're going to close this down. Usually be sure that you get the camera in the correct place. That's an important part. And here we have it. Yeah, I don't see any light yet. I don't know if this thing's still dead. It is. There it goes. Turns on. Right now I'm going to test this. I'm going to see if there's any movement. Turn the home button if it works correctly. It seems everything's good right now. And we'll see how this is. Again, now this is a pin. That's awesome. It's responding. The pin means that touch is active. And the display looks good, so I think we are perfectly fine. Look at that. Home button is responding. Everything's good. So these are actually some very useful tools from Fun. If I can find something similar like it or a place you can get them, I'll send it to you. But here we have it. These pretty much, I like to hold these on here to hold the display in place. If not, kids later, especially on the home buttons, like to push this in and get the display separated, and then we have to repair it again. So this is actually why I'm putting them here. If you ever get these tools, they're used to just hold the display, that's the digitizer, or depending on the display too, depending on how it in place with adhesive, and it helps you out, that way it'll get sticky and get stuck on there. If you don't, most likely it'll probably come off. But here we have it, we're pretty much getting this going. When you tighten this, don't push too much tight will crack the digitizer or the display. It seems worse when you have both the digitizer and the display get damaged, and then there goes your pocket out of there for having to buy all the stuff again to get repaired. So right now I'm just putting them in place. Or I usually put them. I'll tighten them up in a bit. Alrighty. I don't trust my other hand. This means my left hand has a little bit less feeling and late response. So I'm gonna use my right hand to be sure how tight these are. And slowly close them. And pretty much this one is done. And that's pretty much it. Nice. We're done with this one. I got repaired. And then there's pretty much, there it is. And we have the other one that we just did too. That's pretty much it for right now. If I have more videos and stuff like that before, I'll pretty much come and make a video for it. We should get lots of different types of new devices. One of the ones that we're probably gonna get is a Google, what's it called? Google Pixel 6 Pro, I think that we're gonna do. Probably gonna do it here. It'll be my first time working on it. It's not supposed to be too difficult, so I think we'll be all right. But I will pretty much see you then. Thanks guys for watching from Helton's Computer Repair, and I will see you on the next video.